It's a new year, and we have a new club just to have some good times. Okay, do you like what you do? And do what you like, right?
Right.
Well, this is called Designs Worth Doing Club, and this is to honor our good friend from the past, Ruby McKim. And here she is whenever she was nice and young. We were all young at one time, weren't we? Oh my goodness, when you look at the mirror, I have cameras that take all the wrinkles out of my face. Aren't I good? Well, this is so much fun because this is Ruby's 100-year celebration. It was 100 years ago. It was actually 1916. That was like 100 years ago, right? She published her first pattern. Are you ready for it? And it's called Quaddy Quilts. Quaddy Quilties. It's just so funny. Quaddy Quilties. Say that a couple of times. Quaddy Quilties. Quaddy Quilties. And it was from, it was published in the Kansas City Star. And look at the little pictures. And Eric, just go down because you're going to love the little figure down at the bottom. Look at that. Isn't he cute? And then there it is, Ruby Short McKim's in 1916. It was actually, it says her second pattern. And there she is there with her husband, author. But anyhow, I have a collection of her antique quilts. I'm going to show you some new ones made from her patterns, and not only quilts. You guys asked for quilts, but we also have some small projects that are going to be great gifts.
Yay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear it. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! This reminds me of Romper Room. Do you guys know Romper Room? How you're supposed to cheer and shout. And this is my assistant, Teresa. Come over here, Teresa. And this is the first pattern that you have. And I did this pattern. Don't get too excited. It's done with strips. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo! You love it. Isn't it fun? I really had such a great time. Sue called it that butterfly-looking quilt, But it was actually designed by Barbara Eckmeyer, and this is a fabric that's called Paintbrush Studio. It was strips. Yay, strips. And this is actually one of Ruby's patterns. And when I go behind the table, I'm going to show it to you. You're going to love it. But anyhow, notice that each block, there's how many blocks in it? This is one block. It's 18 inches. How many, like, units? 9. So there's 4 that's dark. And then there's also 4 that's like a medium. And you put it together, there's how many total blocks in here? Whole big one. 9. And I figured out that each block takes me around an hour. That's not too bad, huh? Not too bad. And look, Mary Jo quilted these daisies in the center of each solid square. It's got lattice and cornerstones. And then the same fabric. I love this fabric. This is my favorite. Just love it. And the backing, you can even see the quilting on the back. Whoop. Isn't it nice?
You can see it.
It's just really, really fun. Really, really fun.
Oh.
Ah, so cool. All right, so I really only have one quilt, so we could hang it up, but where could we put it so you can still see it? Mary Ann.
From the back, it looks like butterflies, but up close with the camera and all, and the TV.
An Aztec.
Just put it here.
So we have to see if we can display it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go around to the back because I'm going to show you all this good stuff I found about Ruby McKim. That's really, really fun, huh? This whole program was brought to you by her youngest granddaughter, and right here she is. Her name is Marilee McKim, and I think you say it Toohey. That sounds good. Toohey, that sounds really good. And it just goes back. They loved their grandma. She called this Granny. And you know, Ruby McKim died the same year I started. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And they saw all of her collection of things. And first they sold out all of her things, you know, her patterns and her quilts and all of her memorabilia. And then all of a sudden, the family looked around and they saw piles of her stuff kind of shoved over in the warehouse, you know, just waiting to get destroyed. And her family said, wait a minute, we have to save the story of Ruby McKim. And that's what they did. Her whole family has gone ahead and done this. And I have to tell you, I liken my story to this so much. I was in my garage the other day with my sister Patty, and it was just a mess, collection everywhere. And she said, what's in that box, Al? And I told her. She said, well, someday it'll just all get thrown away.
Oh, no.
So you guys are here to help save me too, huh? I just couldn't believe that. Well, one of her first patterns that she did with her husband was called Designs Worth Doing. And I think that this might be one of her original copies because it says McKim Studios, Independence, Missouri. She did it with author. This was, I believe, in 1927 that she started this. And for 1 penny, you could do a mail order and get one of these. Can you imagine? And last night I was looking and I opened it up and I got so excited. Do you see this quilt here? Is that beautiful? This was a kit. Da, 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 da. And you could get the kit for $5. Ready, cut. You're going to need to have some help. Isn't that something? Oh, it's an old one. Oh, thank you for asking if I made it. It's an old one, but isn't it beautiful? And the way they put all the fabrics and all the colors together is just absolutely fantastic. And you are not going to believe the next thing. Okay, just Brenda and Teresa fold half over so they can see the back. Just show the back. That was done with the sewing machine. It was done with a sewing machine.
Yeah.
You guys should gasp. I mean, can you imagine? It was probably a treadle, don't you think? And look at the little stitches. Isn't it good, Brenda?
Tiniest little ever, and it's so soft. Is this bubblegum pink now?
Yes, that's
That's a real
bubblegum
bubblegum
pink.
pink.
So
Boy, it's really bubblegum.
Ruby McKim was such an artist. She studied art, and she said that I think that there should be art everywhere. Forget these painted canvases hanging on the wall. There should be art in your clothing, art in your architecture, art in your crafts. We like that, don't we? Yes. Art everywhere. And she said, quilts are so easy. I think that you should make your quilts by machine. Yay! I know, I think that's great. And you're not going to believe this one. I just died this morning. I read this. It sounds like somebody we know. A penny a piece for quilt patterns. Can you believe that? A penny a piece for quilt patterns. And it said the patterns are all in these little books, and they're 16-page booklets, and they're in color. And I just said, oh, I can't believe that. I can't. Wait, I think I have one, Doris. Hold on, hold your horses. This is what I think. I wrote Sunflower Pattern, Ruby McKim, and I think it says full illustrations. Sounds just like Quilting a Day, doesn't it? Full illustration, 16-page mini book, in color. Ta-da!
Wow.
And actually, do you know how they got the color? I think that this person individually colored this in with like a pencil. It's the sunflower. Do you see all these little shapes? Kind of reminds us of AccuQuilt, huh? You ready for the templates?
They mailed those they give you those too?
Now, I don't know if you got that all for a penny or not, but that's pretty good, isn't it? Can you imagine? And I can't believe how great the shapes are cut because, you know, they look like our die cutting today. Actually, they look like you could do this with your AccuQuilt cutter now, huh? Yeah. But anyhow, these are just some of the things of Ruby McKim that I found. I have tons of these little things that I've collected. And my sister thinks that they're not going to be around. And it's kind of fun. What Ruby did was a lot of little toys and stuffed animals, a lot of aprons. I mean, look at this little design here. I can't even imagine. And then she actually did patterns, quilt patterns for the Kansas City Star and for her own studio. Good? Like it? So I want you guys to be on the lookout. Look, this one, I got an original one, 1930, 31. I wasn't even a gleam in my father's eye. And then another one, 31, 32, Independence, Missouri. And she actually traveled all over around the country with her husband, convincing newspapers to publish her patterns, to print her patterns. In fact, they were often weeks apart while they were doing this. Good stories, huh? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to move some of this out of the way. Teresa told me she needs to have all the room here. And I just want to show you what really started me on Ruby McKim, 101 Patchwork Patterns. This is the first quilt book I ever purchased. And this is actually a reprint. I do have the original, but my office is such a mess I couldn't find it this morning. I have to be truthful. But anyhow, you can see that I'd already moved to Carlsbad whenever I bought this book. This was first published in a reprint, 1962 Dover Publications. And I want to show you, I'm going to go one page. That block that I just showed you is really called The Beggar Block by Ruby McKim. The Beggar Block. Isn't that interesting? So we have to remember what it looks like. And then I was reading down here. Okay, this interesting block harks back. How often do we say those words? Harks back to the neighborly custom of begging one's friends for scraps of their frocks or for the men's old neckties to put into a quilt. Old frocks. Anybody have any old frocks, old scraps? Oh, you have scraps. Yay! I'll take them. I need them. Those look like a beautiful frock for you. Look at that. And they were cut into 2.5-inch strips already. How convenient. How convenient. Wow, I love them. What about any old neckties? We got several men. Old neckties. Eric! Oh, Eric, you're giving up your necktie. Do you mind if I cut it up in the quilt? All right. So that's what they did on the beggar blocks. They just went around the neighborhood looking for scraps.
How about boxer shorts?
Do you have any, Orion? You want to share some with us? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. Strips. Ruby didn't talk about strippers. I guess that's better, huh? Strippers. Okay, so now we're going to go to our pattern. That was great fun, you guys. Thank you. So go to your pattern. Open your notebook. Whoops. Oh, my notes. I actually did a lesson plan. That's how serious I was about this. Okay, so go to your first page, and that should be your pattern, right? Do you see your pattern? Yep, see your pattern? Okay, so open to the back of it. And this is what Barbara Ackmeyer did. She did a really good job. And it's the list of 36 2.5-inch strips. think about 18 mediums and 18 darks, okay? 18 mediums and 18 darks. And Martha went and cut them and organized for you. Wow. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Yes. And these are all the Paintbrush Studio, and these are the ones that Barbara suggested. And so what I'm going to do is just go through the yardage. Then it says you need to have the background and the sashing. Oh my goodness. It says you need to have 288 2.5-inch squares for blocks. 288. I called up my friend Teresa Barnes and I asked how quickly she could cut 288 2.5-inch squares. Are you going to show off?
Well, I'm going to cut him. I'm going to try.
You're going to try? Okay.
This is
so you need to have 2 3/4 yards of background for this whole quilt, okay? And spread it out. Oh, wow, you got a big piece.
Well, you need 200 and what?
88.
Okay.
288.
So.
Okay. In comes the Shape Cut Pro. Now this particular one cuts only 2.5-inch strips. So I think they designed it just in case you wanted to do jelly rolls, right?
I'm sorry, you shouldn't scoot that way. I'm left-handed.
Oh, okay, you're left-handed. I know you're left-handed. It's so funny because, okay, she's going to trim off the salvage edge. No, trim off it, straighten it. And now she's putting her cutter in at 2.5. Ta-da! And 5. And you guys can count. And 7.5.
Oh my goodness.
Don't make you nervous. 10. So I don't know how many of you already have a Shape Cut Pro, but it's really great. And we also have another tool from Creative Grids that cuts 1.5 and 2.5-inch, and it's a little bit smaller than this, but it works really good too.
Okay.
Okay, and now and get rid of the, Teresa.
All right.
You're no fun.
I didn't throw it?
No.
Oh.
Here. You're supposed to have a little fun with your strips. Come on, Teresa. Let's see you do it.
Then you just turn it. Usually I turn the mat, but we didn't have no room.
She walked around the table, and now she's going across the other way, and she is cutting 288. We should have been timing you.
You forgot.
You forgot. I remember the first time she did it for me. It was just like, oh, I just had time to go to the bathroom, and I got back, and they were all done. Pretty good, huh?
All right. And they're exactly 288.
And that's
Out of
she did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you don't use all of it.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, you need to have lattice and some squares, some 6.5-inch squares for the centers of your blocks. But we just decided to show off on the 2.5. That's pretty good, huh? Right. That was pretty good showing off. Okay, so let's see. How about we'll just turn this around, and then I can go on with mine. Look at this.
What do you want to do?
I guess I'm just going to wait patiently while you stack them all up. That's what I should do, huh?
So out of your 2 3/4, Eleanor, can I say, would you recommend we cut the 2.5 by 18.5-inch strips? And the others first, and then what's left over use for the square?
Right, you could do that.
Okay.
That would be really good. But basically, you cut 30 2.5-inch strips first.
Oh, okay.
And then go ahead and cut your 18-inch lattice. 18.5-inch. To tell you the truth, I might even suggest you wait for cutting lattice after your blocks are made, just to make sure they're the right size. Okay? Okay, I feel like we've got to get our quilt is nicely folded and you can't see it when I reference it. We need it out. Okay, so Teresa, you want to show the block?
What
I
block?
don't know where the quilt went.
Oh, your big block? Your
Yeah.
big quilt?
Yeah, I'm talking about that big block.
I don't know where to put
Okay.
it for you.
Okay, so
But this is,
okay, so let's just take a
This
look
is-
at this. Okay, now
you
I'm
want
going
me
to
to
go
open the whole
ahead.
thing?
Just hold on to it,
Okay.
and I'll show it. Okay, so dark color and a medium. Okay, in each one of these, this is a 6.5-inch strip. And basically, this did all start out to be 6.5-inch strips. So there's 3 6.5-inch of the dark, and how many total? There's 3, 6, 9,
12.
12, right? And then it's exactly the same thing. These were 6.5-inch of the medium. And again, there's how many of those 6.5-inch? 12? Little math, don't you just hate it? Okay, so I go, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get my 6.5-inch triangle square up ruler. That'll be a good measurement. So isn't that good, Gail? Just who cares? We don't even need a ruler. And I have my 2 mediums and my 2 darks all stacked up. And all I'm going to do is put it straight on my grid. And first thing, going to cut off my salvage edge, get rid of it. See, Teresa? Okay, and then just cut 6.5-inch pieces the whole way across. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, be very stingy. You see this? This is good for something. Don't throw it away. You can do a whole other quilt out of this. I started one. Okay, so now I'm going to take this set of 6.5 and set it aside for the center. Okay? I don't want to do anything with the center strips, so I'm going to put it out of my way so I can't see it. Okay, so now you have to look at your instructions. Oh, I need some squares back. Whoa.
Oh, there they are.
This ought to be enough, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is what Barbara said. She said, draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of 288 background squares. Are you going to draw a diagonal line? Nope. Who said that? Aiko said she would. Aiko! My goodness, how do you have time to do all of that? And now, enter the Sew Straight.
Love that thing.
Do you guys have one?
Yes.
How many of you have one? I want to see. Oh, this is the way. And I thought, I always show mine on, so I'm just going to show you because this is the Sew Straight, and not only that, look at all of the nice instructions that come with it. Ta-da! To tell you other uses. And then this really cool Scotch stuff. This is for the back. This is so that you can put it on down on your sewing table. If you've never seen this stuff is really good. It's what?
Cut it, dice it.
Oh, cut it. It's not cut. Oh, it's not cut. Okay, Teresa, can you come over and help me open these up? Okay, there's 4 little pieces, 1 for each corner, and all you have to do, they're by Scotch and they are reusable. So whenever you peel off one side of it, I would save that little piece. Wow, how did you get it so fast?
Give it.
Okay, so this is one side, and I'm going to put it right in the corner, and then you have one
Here.
for 4 more corners. Good. Okay, and these little things that she's peeling off, You save those.
Where is it?
Where did you gotta save them, or are they all still on there? They're still on there.
There we go.
Okay,
You glue
thank you. And now you have to peel them off of here. You have to peel the top off. There's little like cellophane on both sides of it.
And we need to save these things?
Yes, because when you peel this off your sewing machine, you can stick them back on there.
All right.
It's very important. You put that in our safe.
Okay. I'll put them in
It's
the
very, very
safe.
important. Okay, and so now there's a line that says arrow. It says align needle at edge of feed dogs. Okay, I better go up, right? I have a nice line here, so I'm going to line it up with the line and stick it in place. And then you can peel it up and you can reuse it. Is that good?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, now I need my stiletto. Do you have your stiletto?
Oh, I don't use one.
Okay, so I'm going to do 2 of these, 2 to make a block, and then I'm going to take 2 of the dark, and I left some of the salvage on. Okay, are you on your picture? Your first picture that shows your little square goes on one end, and what I want you to notice so that you can always, okay, I want to get my open toe foot on. Ta-da! Open toe foot.
It's right in the corner.
Oh yes, right where you told me it would be. Okay, open toe foot and line it up. I'm like, okay, stick it on there. Okay, now how many times do you start sewing in the corner and you just jam it? Did you know that if you always start in the middle of the strip and sew toward the corner, you won't get any jamming? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to put the one corner right underneath my needle, and I'm going to line up the opposite end right on my line, okay? So that whenever I stitch, and just go like this, ta-da! And look at that sticking right on there. Nice jumper, Scrap. Okay, and so you just keep on sewing right to the end, and I like to just keep my 1.5 or my 2.5 inch squares right here, right in the middle, and then just assembly line sew it. Doo-doo. And lift up the next one and just go right behind. Okay, now I finally have my machine all set up. Aha! Okay, assembly line, pedal. So can you imagine 288 of these? But it really goes fast. Okay, here. Okay, and I'm actually making 2 blocks, and see, I left a little bit of salvage edge. I always tell Teresa, because a lot of times when she does my cutting, she's so tight. And a lot of times I end up with little salvage edges, and I tell her, I'm never going to win a prize at a quilt show. You leave my salvage edges in. Okay, and so now I need my little cutting gizmo. And just think if you had 288 in a row, that would be a lot. So all you have to do is go choo, choo, choo. Okay, now let's turn it around, and we have to sew on the other end, okay? And Teresa, I think I'll have you sew while I show them how to get their ruler ready, okay? So sew on the opposite end, and I'm going to show you how to prepare your ruler. 6.5 inch triangle square up ruler. Now we're going to trim off the corners of these, and I found out if you take glow line tape and you find 5 and an 8. And I'm going to line up 5 and an 8 right along there. Doo-doo! May I have my cutter. Thank you, my dear. Just trim that off. You guys use glow line tape? It's really good. It's really good for marking a line so that it's always right where you want it to be. You can look really quick. Oh no, more sticky stuff. Ah, little corners. So a lot of times you can use Invisigrip, but we found out on the camera it glows. It gives a little shine so you can't see it. So I'm just putting these all over. There. Is that good? True Grips. I'm ready. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay, so now I'm going to just take these. I'm glad you're... Okay, I can't quite get it over here. Okay, one more. Okay. All right, and you have to be at the iron. Okay, so there we are, all done. And now we're just going to take our cool ruler that we marked, and we're going to put this center line right down through the middle. Ta-da! Perfect. Look at that. I can see that. Okay, so see the diagonal line, this line goes right down through the middle, and the diagonal lines are 1/4 inch away from the stitches. Okay, you can see the red thread. Is that good? So you just go doot, doot. You have to make the noise. That's easy, isn't it? And you know what? See that red thread? Oh my
Press
gosh.
towards the light.
Yep, towards the triangle. So see how quickly if you just put that line underneath, right in there. And I tell you, I learned everything from experience. That's all I want to know. First of all, I was using white matching thread. Oh my gosh, I could never see it. And then it was taking me so much time just to find. And I said, okay, with a little bit of work, we can do that. Ta-da! And now, one more. And it just goes very quick. So I did it. Barbara wrote the pattern, but I did add some of my own little things to it. And aren't these cute? Don't throw these away. No, 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 no. Don't throw those away. Let me see. What do I have? Oh, yes. I went and I sewed them all together. I'm the queen of plastic bags. Let us see if I can do this. Woo! You like it? Okay, so then all you do is you put dark on the top, set the seam, you don't even have to set, and just press the seam towards the dark, and then cut them with your cutting gizmo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Fast! Get rid of this. Okay, here's one more. Oh, they're lovely, Teresa. What a good job. What am I going to do with them? Make a quilt. I'm so glad you asked. I love pinwheels. Do you love pinwheels?
I love pinwheels.
I love pinwheels. I can't wait to show you this. I just finished it on Sunday, so I couldn't get it quilted. I love pinwheels. Isn't that sweet? You know what I said? If I have to square these little things up, I'm not doing it.
But they're perfectly
And I said, to hell with squaring up. I'm not going to square it up. I'll square it up in the end. So I sewed all my little pinwheels together. I made the centers really good. There's a few that I have to hang it high and keep it moving. But mostly they're pretty good. And then I squared after the pinwheel was sewn together and cut a 3-inch square to set it with. Isn't that cute?
Yes.
And I think the pinwheel is a very, very easy block to make. Isn't that charming? I just love it. I can't wait. So I have a lot of these narrow walls in my log home or table runner. Long, long table. would make.
Scarves for your dressers.
Oh, okay. Look, Orion always wants to make sure. That's to press your seams open.
I do
Okay.
have it right here, Mom.
Oh, okay. We don't even have to open it up. Okay, let me show you the finished block. This is how fast it is. It's gonna go like this. Whoops. That's not right.
You know what? He doesn't want me to burn my fingers. Right?
Like this.
So I'm holding, instead of holding it like right in here, closer, this is perfect to hold it down. Do you see it? I need a little system going here.
Oops.
This
I
is
see.
like it controls the heat or something, but it's like a rubbery, you know, so you don't burn your fingers.
And it doesn't burn. You can put your iron on that little.
Yeah. See? You're holding it. No, it does not slip. See?
Is that cool?
Yeah, it is very cool thing for it.
All right. And
Because
so-
Eleanor likes steam, so you know the steam will burn you.
You know what, Teresa did teach me something she teaches me something all the time, but she said, I love to push the button and get lots of steam. And she said, don't push the button until you're done, so you don't get the steam shooting on you. I go, oh, yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. Okay, so here's my 2 little blocks already. Is that cute? It's quick, isn't it? It's quick. So all you have to do now is just sew these pieces on either side of that strip we set aside. Remember the strips we set aside? And whenever you're done, you take this and look at your pattern. It actually shows you how to press your seams. Do you see right at the bottom of the paper? It says push your seams in toward the middle. Push your seams in toward the middle like this. Ta-da! Very, very fast. Okay, and so now I have to collect all of these because I have to sew these. Now I am obsessed with it. I actually used nearly all of them, but I had a few left. Okay, so let me pick these up. And so now you're going to start. Let's just look at the block. You can do this one up and down and do the medium sideways, okay, on both. And then let's take and do the green up and down, and sideways, okay? Whoops, not in the middle. Not in the middle. What goes in the middle? This is a 6.5-inch square.
Cool.
And that's the block. Is that easy? It's very, very easy. And then all you have to do is put lattice. Yes, it shows you all of the pressing instructions. Pretty good, huh? Flip the page, and when you set it together, you set it together with lattice and little cornerstones. Yes, Joan?
I don't know why it struck me, and Ruby McKim wouldn't know what this is, but those shapes look like a drone to me.
A drone?
Looks like a drone. You know, you see them, the little drones?
Yes. Oh my goodness, you had to say that. It's just so funny because it's just like modern day. She was supposed to be very contemporary, very modern. And she was like the Art Nouveau lady. Yes. She really changed. She changed quilting in the 20s and the 30s. And that's why she's my hero. I just really think she's great. But I think it's a cool pattern. What do you think? Okay, so now we got all those little pinwheels. They're so cute. I love them. So all you need are 4 of these, and see, these are not squared up yet. I just said, oh, I just can't do it. I'm so sorry I picked green on the green mat. Let me see. I think there's white. Okay. Sorry, Eric. Okay, now lay out the little pinwheel that looks like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pinwheel, right? If you're as crazy as I am, you can make the cutest little quilt. Okay, let's snap this off. Put your 1/4 inch foot back on. And, okay, it's a 1/4 inch seam. Come on. Hold your tongue right. Okay, so you flip the left row onto the right. Oh, the right row onto the left. And these seams will lock together, and that's what I was really careful about. I went and I lined up the seams in the center and didn't worry about the outside so that it wouldn't matter, because I would have gone nuts. I do not like squaring up. Okay, so just go ahead and lock them in the center. Whoops. Oh no, darn it. Where's my jumper scrap? I threw it away.
Here. Here.
Oh, one of the 288 little
No,
2.5 inch
That's
squares.
the end.
Okay, so let's start over again. A little jumper scrap just to get
That
me
was
started. Hold on to it. Okay, roll it up, look at it, make sure that it's locked. Pick up the second one, lock right in the very center. Doo-doo. Oh my goodness, they're not the same. But I think if you go ahead and mark your ruler like I showed you, your 6.5 for squaring up. Okay, that's one. You're going to do lots of assembly line. And now when you open it up, let us see. 1. Make sure, oh look, there's a good 1/4 inch seam there, right? And there. That's good. But look at the outsides. That's okay, don't worry. Okay, so whenever I pick these up, I just take this one and turn the seam down. And when I flip it right sides together, I push this seam up so they lock together, up and down, okay? And then just line it up. Whoops, use your jumper scrap again. And take it through. Feel it, top seam up, bottom seam down. Okay, and let's see what we got. I get to look. Ooh, pretty good. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good, and this is our little swirling thing. There is a connecting thread light right here, so you have to clip that thread and then just remove these stitches right here. There's about 3 of them. Just pick them out, turn it over to the other side, and pick them out. It's really good if you just have a seam ripper, and then you can clip the threads, and yeah, okay. And then they're gone. Lay it flat, swirl those seams, go right, left, down, up, open that center, mush it good. Good? And now let's see what it looks on the other side. Great? Okay, and so now I take it and I square it up with a 6-inch square up ruler. And I bet you I have that right now.
6
don't I?
inch?
6 inch.
Did you take it?
I have one, yeah. Okay, so my piece is worked up being 3 inches. This is perfect. So if you take the 6-inch square up ruler and you put 1.5 down through the center, 1.5, and actually it looks pretty good. I'm very excited. And just trim 2 sides Then turn it around and trim the last 2 sides. Ta-da! And it's done. That's a good one. And that's all you got, little extra. And you can sew all your pinwheels together.
Eleanor,
Uh-huh.
if you changed your lattice, they'd be cute in the little squares of the corner squares.
The little lattice, oh, and these in front of these, around these.
Instead of a cornerstone.
Yeah.
Oh.
As your corners.
Oh, where did I put the Ruby McKim? But she didn't do that. She didn't do that. This is what she did. She said, this is the second pattern. The pinwheel pattern. And see, she used little solid squares. So it's just very, very cute from 101 Patchwork Patterns. All right, the quilt's done. Yay! Woohoo!